I will never forget the chilling events that unfolded in our small town. It was a place where everyone knew each other, a tight-knit community where safety and trust were the norm. But that all changed when a series of mysterious disappearances plagued our peaceful existence. It started innocently enough, with whispers of missing pets and the occasional person gone astray. But as the weeks turned into months, the disappearances became more frequent, each one shrouded in a veil of darkness that left us all on edge. The town was gripped by fear, with every shadow seeming to hold a sinister secret. Doors were locked tight, and the once friendly streets became deserted as people huddled in their homes, desperate to protect themselves from the unknown. I too became consumed by the mystery, unable to ignore the growing sense of dread that hung heavy in the air. As a concerned citizen, I vowed to uncover the truth, to shine a light on the sinister forces that had infiltrated our once idyllic town. The investigation led me down a twisted path, filled with cryptic clues and eerie encounters. I spoke to the families of the missing, their tear-filled eyes pleading for answers that I could not yet provide. The more I delved into the disappearances, the more I realized that a malevolent presence was at play. Whispers circulated about an abandoned house on the outskirts of town, a place steeped in dark legends and long-forgotten secrets. It was said that those who entered never returned, forever lost to a sinister force that dwelled within. Driven by an insatiable curiosity and a determination to uncover the truth, I ventured into the heart of darkness. The house stood before me, a decrepit structure with broken windows and a haunting aura. I pushed open the creaking door, stepping into a realm where time seemed to stand still. Inside, the air was thick with an oppressive silence. The walls were adorned with strange symbols, remnants of occult rituals that had taken place long ago. I navigated the labyrinthine corridors, each step echoing through the desolate halls, my heart pounding with anticipation and dread. As I ventured deeper into the house, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber, its entrance concealed by an ancient tapestry. It was there that the truth revealed itself in all its horrifying glory. The chamber held a collection of photographs, each one depicting a victim in their final moments, their eyes filled with terror. The room was adorned with eerie artifacts and symbols, their meanings lost to time. Shadows danced upon the walls, casting grotesque shapes that seemed to writhe in the dim light. As I examined the photographs on the walls, a chilling realization washed over me. The victims captured in those images were not random individuals. They were all connected to the town, friends and acquaintances who had vanished without a trace. A knot tightened in my stomach as I understood it, but this malevolent force had been lurking among us, striking when least expected. A cold gust of wind cut through the chamber, extinguishing the flickering candle flames and plunging the room into darkness. Panic seized me and I fumbled for a source of light. But then, in the blackness, a pair of crimson eyes materialized before me, glowing with a malevolent intensity. The entity had taken form, its presence tangible and suffocating. The air grew heavy with a sickening stench, a mixture of decay and malevolence. The room trembled with an otherworldly energy, causing the walls to crack and groan under the weight of an ancient evil. Whispers, both menacing and pleading, echoed through the chamber, as if the trapped souls were desperate to communicate their torment. Paralyzed with fear, I watched as the entity moved closer, its movements unnaturally fluid, like a predator stalking its prey. It emanated a palpable darkness that seeped into every corner of the room, enveloping me in its suffocating grasp. I could feel its hunger, a hunger for my very soul. With a guttural growl, the entity lunged at me, its elongated limbs reaching out like tendrils of darkness. I stumbled backward, desperately trying to escape its grasp. But its power was overwhelming, its grip tightening around my throat, suffocating me as I gasped for air. In the midst of the struggle, a surge of determination coursed through my veins. I refused to become another victim, another photograph adorning these cursed walls. With every ounce of strength I could muster, I fought back, clawing at the entity's ethereal form, screaming defiance into the void. An unearthly screech pierced the air as the entity recoiled, momentarily weakened by my resistance. It thrashed and contorted, its form distorting and fragmenting. In a blinding burst of light, it dissipated, leaving behind a lingering sense of malevolence that hung heavy in the air. I collapsed to the floor, gasping for breath, the room bathed in an eerie silence. The oppressive energy that had filled the a grim reminder of the darkness that had plagued our lives. No one dared to enter its decaying halls, the walls holding the memories of unspeakable horrors. It became a relic, a symbol of our collective trauma, forever etched into the fabric of our town's history. To this day, the mystery of the enigmatic entity remains unresolved. Some believe it was an ancient malevolent spirit, others a manifestation of our collective fears. But one thing is certain: the memory of that night and the horrors we faced will forever haunt us, a constant reminder that evil can take on many forms and lurk in the most unsuspecting places. As a loving father, I cherished every moment spent with my precious daughter, Emily. She had a radiant smile and innocent eyes that could light up a room. Our days were filled with laughter, playful games, and bedtime stories that ignited her imagination. However, one fateful day, my world took a dark turn. It was a stormy night when Emily disappeared. The wind howled and rain lashed against the windows, creating an eerie atmosphere. As thunder rumbled ominously, we found comfort in our cozy home, unaware of the lurking horror that awaited us. Emily and I were engrossed in a game of hide and seek. She squealed with delight as she scurried away, seeking the perfect hiding spot. I counted down, eagerly anticipating the moment when I would find her. But when I finished counting and opened my eyes, an unsettling silence engulfed the house. "Emily," I called out, my voice quivering with apprehension. There was no response, only the haunting echoes of my own words bouncing off the walls. Panic tightened its grip on my heart as I frantically searched every corner of our home, desperate to find my beloved daughter. Minutes turned into hours, and the darkness outside grew deeper. Fear constricted my throat as I dialed the emergency services. The police arrived swiftly, their flashlights cutting through the thick veil of rain. We scoured the area, combing through nearby woods, abandoned buildings, and even the nearby river, but Emily was nowhere to be found. Days turned into weeks, and the search for Emily consumed my every waking moment. Sleep became an elusive stranger as nightmares haunted my restless nights. In the depths of my despair, I began to notice strange occurrences within our home. Objects would move inexplicably, doors creaked open on their own, and chilling whispers echoed through the hallways. It was as if an unseen presence lingered, taunting me with its malevolent presence. I delved into the history of our house, hoping to uncover any secrets that might explain Emily's disappearance. What I discovered sent shivers down my spine. Decades ago, a young girl named Amelia had vanished under eerily similar circumstances. The parallel between their disappearances chilled me to the core. Was it possible that a malevolent force had claimed the lives of both Amelia and Emily? Driven by desperation, I sought the help of paranormal investigators. They brought with them an array of equipment to detect supernatural phenomena. As we ventured into the darkest corners of our home, the air grew thick with anticipation. The investigators' equipment crackled with energy, confirming the presence of something otherworldly. In a hidden room, tucked away in the attic, we uncovered a mysterious diary. Its faded pages contained cryptic entries, describing a sinister ritual that promised eternal life in exchange for the sacrifice of a pure soul. The name Emily appeared repeatedly, sending a chill down my spine. Had my daughter been targeted by an ancient evil? With a newfound determination, we conducted a seance, hoping to make contact with the spirits that haunted our home. As we gathered in a circle, the room plunged into darkness. Whispers filled the air, growing louder and more menacing with each passing moment. Suddenly, a cold gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles in an instant. And then I saw her, the apparition of a young girl, her eyes hollow and her expression filled with sorrow. "Father," the spectral voice whispered, sending shivers down my spine. "Release me from this eternal torment." Terror gripped my heart as I realized the truth. Emily was never truly gone. She had become trapped in the realm between life and death. The sinister forces that plagued our home had ensnared her innocent soul, using her as a conduit for their nefarious purposes. Driven by love and desperation, I embarked on a perilous journey to break the curse that held Emily captive. Guided by ancient texts and rituals, I ventured into the depths of darkness, battling malevolent spirits and facing my deepest fears. It was a race against time as the presence grew stronger, threatening to claim both Emily and my own sanity. In a climactic showdown, I confronted the malevolent entity, standing between its insidious power and the liberation of my daughter's soul. The battle was fierce, with ethereal tendrils lashing out and the air crackling with dark energy. But with sheer determination and a love that knew no bounds, I managed to banish the entity back to the shadows from whence it came. In the aftermath, as the house fell silent, I held Emily's ethereal form in my arms. Tears streamed down my face as I whispered words of love and release, and in that moment a serene smile graced her lips and she vanished, her spirit finally finding peace. But even with Emily's liberation, the scars of that harrowing experience remained etched upon my soul. The memories of the chilling whispers, the paranormal manifestations, and the desperate battle against ancient evil would forever haunt me. The house stood as a silent witness, a testament to the dark forces that had threatened to consume our lives. To this day, I live with the knowledge that the line between the living and the dead is often blurred. The tale of Emily's disappearance serves as a chilling reminder that evil can lurk in the most unsuspecting places, ready to seize innocent souls. And as I reflect upon that nightmare, I pray that no other parent will have to endure the torment of a missing child who was never truly there. I woke up one fateful morning to find an empty house, a chilling void where the warmth of my mother's presence once resided. Panic immediately seized hold of my heart as I frantically searched every room, calling out her name. But my desperate cries echoed back to me, unanswered. It was as if she had evaporated into thin air, leaving behind only a trail of questions and a profound sense of loss. Days turned into weeks, and still there was no sign of her. The authorities launched an investigation, combing through every inch of the house, questioning neighbors, and scouring the surrounding area. Yet, their efforts yielded no clues, no leads to follow. My mother's disappearance remained an enigma, casting a dark shadow over our lives. As the search grew colder, I found myself consumed by a sense of helplessness and despair. Nights were the hardest, a torment of sleepless hours haunted by vivid nightmares and the haunting whispers of an unseen presence. The once familiar creaks of the house now held an eerie quality, and the air carried a weight of sorrow and foreboding. Strange phenomena began to unfold, adding to the mounting fear that gripped me. Objects would inexplicably move, their positions changing when I turned my back. Unsettling whispers echoed through the hallways, their words indecipherable yet dripping with malevolence. An icy chill seemed to linger in the air, seeping into my bones and chilling my very soul. Driven by desperation and a relentless thirst for answers, I delved into the realm of the paranormal. I sought out psychics, mediums, and paranormal investigators, hoping they could shed light on the inexplicable. Their words painted a grim picture of malevolent entities, hidden dimensions, and the possibility that my mother had unwittingly crossed a threshold into a realm beyond our own. In my search for truth, I descended into the depths of the occult. Hidden beneath the surface of our seemingly ordinary house, I discovered a hidden chamber, an arcane sanctuary untouched by time. Within its dust-laden shelves, I unearthed ancient grimoires, their pages filled with forbidden knowledge and secrets too terrible to comprehend. Late into the night, surrounded by flickering candles, I immersed myself in the texts, deciphering cryptic rituals and incantations. I sought to bridge the gap between worlds, to connect with the unseen forces that held my mother captive. In my ignorance, I unknowingly trespassed into realms where mortals were never meant to tread. With each passing day, the paranormal activity intensified. Shadows danced with malevolence, growing darker and more corporeal. Whispering voices grew louder, their words an unintelligible cacophony of terror. The house itself seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, as if the very foundations trembled beneath the weight of an ancient curse. In my darkest hour, when I felt the tendrils of darkness closing in, I sought the guidance of a renowned exorcist, a beacon of hope in a sea of chaos. Together, we embarked on a perilous journey to unravel the mysteries that had plagued my mother's existence. Within the confines of that accursed house, we stood, armed with sacred relics and prayers, our souls braced for the battles that lay ahead. The exorcist summoned forth his divine power, invoking ancient rites to banish the malevolent forces that held my mother captive. The clash of light and shadow reverberated through the walls, a battle waged in realms unseen. As the final confrontation reached its zenith, the house seemed to tremble and groan, its very essence resisting the exorcism. But with unwavering determination and the love I held for my mother, we emerged victorious. The ethereal veil that had shrouded the house for so long began to dissipate, allowing the light of truth to pierce the darkness. However, my mother's whereabouts remained a cruel mystery. Are you prepared to embark on a haunting journey delving into the depths of nightmare memoirs? Will you dare to uncover the chilling secrets that lurk in the shadows? Join us and become a fearless seeker of all things spooky. Subscribe and like if you dare to traverse the shadowy depths with us.